Socialist Summer Part 2, Why to Freak Out. Dude, Van Jones was a fucking Maoist third worldist, man. Between me and him, he's the only one who was ever a Maoist.
All right, a quick message to my friends on the far left. Quit pooping in the Kool-Aid bowl and telling us that the turds are ice cubes. They're not ice cubes, and I want to talk about it. All right, guys, I got some stuff I want to get off my chest. I am tired of a set of people on the very far left in the Democratic Party, my party, telling us that in order for us to be progressives, we now have to believe ideas and support ideas that are completely nuts. I am a progressive Democrat. These are our ideals as progressives. We should fight for them. We need them now more than ever. But what does that have to do with supporting Hamas? What does that have to do with putting up candidates who say we should have no police, no prisons, we can't deport anybody, even if they commit rape or murder, Israel shouldn't exist? These are terrible ideas. These are awful ideas. Where did these ideas even come from?
You just listed the things the extreme left is looking for. We're just asking them to do them. Yeah, we know what Van Jones is fucking. Did bro get Fetterman? He's been Fetterman. Are you kidding me? He got $100 million from Jeff Bezos. Are you kidding me? Jeff Bezos gave him $100 million for no reason. Like, well, not for no damn reason, for this reason. Glenn Greenwald had a good assessment of this video, I think. Where is it? In 2009, Van Jones was forced to resign from the Obama admin after 6 months because Fox News and establishment Democrats denounced him as a radical left due to his prior support in the 1990s for Mumia Abu-Jamal, calling a GOP member an asshole, allegedly signing a petition suggesting Bush did 9/11, etc. His glaring, oozing career ambitions lay in the ruins as he was kicked out of decent DC power centers for transgressing too many ideological lines and compartmental rules. That's when he realized that the wealth and celebrity awaited him only if he were willing instead to transform himself into a vehement defender and guard of establishment dogma, a useful tool for those who had just struck him down. So that's exactly what he did. He renounced his prior radical views, repeatedly apologized for his transgressions, became a stalwart, weepy advocate of deary DC media conventional wisdom, and began playing the new TV character his script required. The moderate, sensible, liberal who just wants to bring everyone together in a safe status quo perpetuating middle. His real function, to begin every sentence with, I'm progressive democratic, the subtext, a black progressive Democrat, and then denounce the populist left and populist right for crossing the political and ideological lines that he was told to vigorously police and uphold, the lines which nobody is permitted to cross without being denounced and excluded the way he once was. Look, they're too extreme even for Van Jones. He was there to protect his establishment bosses by punishing the excesses of the extremes on both sides, just as he had once been punished by them, almost to the point of career destruction. His service as the black progressive policeman for the DC establishment and his dual religious planks of corporatism and militarism were predictably very valuable for them and very lucrative for him. He got larger and larger CNN contracts. Jeff Bezos gave him $100 million to hand out to whoever he wanted. Jay-Z hired him to lead a new group, etc., etc. Book deals from large New York City publishing houses flowed in. Since October 2023, he saw the real opening, one that would catapult him upward even further into the top echelons of establishment servitude, turn himself into the most devoted liberal media loyalist to Israel, the most militant defender of Tel Aviv's reputation as global support for that country collapsed. That is precisely what Van Jones is doing. That is the lane he occupies. Glenn Greenwald, despite my back and forth arguments with Glenn at times, has fucking nailed it. Okay? He is perhaps at his best when he's cooking establishment liberals from, his position. He has deep disdain for these types. This is no notes 100% a cook. Okay? The most militant defender of Tel Aviv's reputation as global support for that country collapsed. He dutifully wore his little yellow ribbon pin every day for years on TV as if it were tattooed on him. He cackled with Bill Maher about how annoying it is to keep hearing all this whining about dead babies in Gaza. With his patented fake TV tears in his eyes, he heralded Israel as our greatest ally and talked about how worried he was for his beloved Jewish friends as anti-Semitism grew on the left and the right. Now he's here to boast that the leaders in both parties called him this week to profusely thank him for his service to the bipartisan DC agenda. The once wannabe radical has fully transformed into a prime media instrument for the establishment that once threatened to destroy him. Both parties are now grateful to him for defending their prerogatives and positions. One thing is for sure, other than Jake Tapper and Dana Bash, nobody's future is brighter at CNN once Larry Ellison's son buys up Warner Brothers and CNN and puts Barry Weiss in charge with the sole mandate to turn the network into an even more vigorous Israeli propaganda network than CBS has become. That's it. What can I say? No notes. Could this ever happen to you? What do you think? Don't you think that I've had many pivot opportunities in my entire career? What have I done? What have I done every single time? I stood by my principles. My entire quote unquote business strategy, if you want to call it that, is also designed in a way where I can maybe, to the best of my ability, overcome these sorts of outside pressures. That's why I'm accountable to you, okay? That's it. Why do you think I don't go after sponsorships? Why do you think I forego any kind of ad spend or any kind of advertising initiatives whatsoever? There have been a million different instances where I could have easily pivoted and said, oh, look, I'm a former Muslim guy. Okay. In the early 2016 era, I could have started off by saying, I'm a militant atheist and a former Muslim. I grew up in Turkey, and I'm here to tell you Islam is the most dangerous religion. Okay. I could have done that. That would have been a fantastic pivot point. Okay. I'm a good looking, white passing, tall Muslim guy, former Muslim guy. Do you understand what kind of appetite there was for someone like myself? Why in the ever loving fuck would I ever come out of the gate swinging for socialism, and perhaps even more dangerous than socialism in general, anti-imperialism? Why would I speak out against Israel all the way back in 2014, 2015, 2016? Why would I speak out against Barack Obama's foreign interventions all the way back when? Why would I speak out against the mass deportation agenda, first championed by Barack Obama and then by Donald Trump? There were a million opportunities for someone like myself to pivot away from that, to be a dog to the Democratic Party, to be a radical centrist. Who would want to be in this position? Yes, I know from the outside, it's like, oh, dude, you got, you make a lot of money, Hasan. That's what people say, right? Sponsored by You the People, for You the People, by the way, Piker Broadcasting Service. They say, oh, you make a lot of money, Hasan. It's true. But do you understand how little attacks I would fucking receive if I was a establishment media figurehead, which I very easily could have gotten to by this point? I've been doing this shit to an increasingly growing audience with a lot more real world impact over the last decade. But there were a million opportunities for someone like myself to renounce my former views. Do you know how much money I would have? Van Jones is $1 million, $100 million in his fucking bank account. If I could cut it in independent media, going my own way, staying true to my values, staying true to my moral compass, what makes you think I couldn't fucking make a shit ton more money and receive no fucking pushback whatsoever? I've always told everyone you're a true believer, which is why we're so lucky to have you as our figurehead. Yeah, it's why it's so silly when people say, oh, dude, you're fucking grifter, dude. Yeah, dude, definitely. I love grifting to an audience. I love grifting to an audience that is unbelievably skeptical. I love grifting by assuming perhaps one of the more unpopular positions in American politics that is now becoming popular, partially due to the effort that I've put in, but the effort that you've put in, the effort that DSA has put in. It's becoming more mainstream now. But if you think, this is why I always yell at people. This is why I always yell at people who will say stuff like, dude, these people who are now turning on Israel are grifters. It's like, sure, there are some who are. If I had that mentality, half of you would probably not be anti-Israel now. Many of you had no fucking clue about what Israel was up to before October 7. So remember, you got to be a little bit more gracious for people who are, going through their own journey too.